Hello, name's Ann and welcome back to the channel. Thank you very much for tuning in. Today I'm bringing you a very interesting build that I've only recently developed and never playtested so far. So yet again, I'm very curious about how this is going to turn out, how this is going to play out, and how the run overall is going to feel. Now, I developed this build in response to replaying or recording for you guys the build's interventional combos, which revolved around solely making the Chaos Arcana Arcane intervention work. Now, this is an Arcana where I would throw a pole around the place and then teleport enemies in my vicinity to that pole. So you can teleport them into an area that you can crowd control shortly thereafter, or you could straight up throw them into pits. Or not throw, but teleport them into pits. And I really enjoy that aspect of moving enemies around. I do try to incorporate that in a lot of my builds, like some of my favorites actually. They do that very efficiently. And today I decided, let's make a build fully around that premise of, well, moving enemies around. Shall we get into it? Today's build is called Push and Pull. It's a combo build, and it's a 50-50 split, as you can tell probably by my elements. It's half water, half wind, so very interesting combination here, if I do say so myself. The build premise, the build theme here is we're gonna pull enemies closer to us and then push them away again. And that's really all we do with this build. So I am very uncomfortable with this build playstyle. I do try to incorporate a bit of enemy movement and just versatility, abilities that allow you to push enemies into pits, for example. But generally, I don't tend to make that the main focus of a build. And when I do, or when I would, that build would usually end up being pretty weak, since you can't push bosses around, for example. So you have to dish out massive numbers of damage in order to compensate for your lack of, well, damage overall. Now, making a build solely on the premise, for example, of shoving enemies into pits doesn't work. It ceases working the second a room doesn't have pits. And same for bosses and mini-bosses for obvious reasons, the aforementioned reasons here. So I usually tend to avoid making builds around this premise. However, today I think I found a decent compromise which doesn't entirely lack damage. I wouldn't consider this super janky. I would say it's jank, but maybe not so much. We'll see. I haven't played this before, and I think it might. Wow, we really stooped down low here. It could work well. It might work well. I don't have a guarantee here, but just from my experience of putting together janky builds, I feel like this is not that bad. It could definitely work out. I could definitely see if we got good items that we might potentially destroy bosses later on during the game. Let's get into it here, though. Now, for our role, we will be using the Venture Robe, which I was gonna say it increases our max health, but that wouldn't be a correct statement. It increases our max health by minus 200 HP. It decreases our max health from 500 down to 300, and increases both our damage, run speed, and cooldown reduction by 10% each, which is great. Gives us a little bit of everything. The run speed is nice. This is, after all, a very movement-focused build. The damage increase is great. It's definitely going to come in handy. And then the cooldown reduction is key. We want to be able to pull off our combos more. Our main combo, in broad terms, being to pull enemies closer and then push them away. Or do it in reverse. I don't know, that just, yeah. We're just gonna chain those things together. Really, it loses all sort of meaning at some point here, as you will see in a second. For our starting relic, we will be using the very underdog, I'd say, miscellaneous jumper cables, which reduces the cooldowns on all movement arcana by 15%. That's very good if you run a jump-based build, for example, because jumps give you iframes for the entirety of the duration, so you are unable to take any damage, and, well, you can just pretty much stack jumps. If you get 2 jumps right at the get-go and a little bit of extra cooldown reduction from a tempo rope, for example, you can probably just keep spamming jumps forever with the jumper cables. Pun intended. But we're not going to be using them for that purpose. It's just a decent item here. It's nothing too overpowering, unlike items like the Spice Rack in direct comparison, or like this down here, for example, the Surefire Rocket. This is a very, I'd say, even niche, in the background kind of, but still very good starting relic. And that's what we're using it for, just a little bit of extra cooldown reduction so we can pull off our combos slightly better. We could also probably use something like the Spice rank or Elemental Point A, but we don't really need that kind of cooldown reduction. We are already running a very niche build, fully running movement only Arcana, and therefore jumper cables is just the perfect kind of cooldown reduction to this build, in my opinion anyway. For our Arcana, let's get going here. For our basic, we'll be using Ice Dagger, which is very interesting. This counts also as a movement Arcana. We can, for obvious reasons, reduce the cooldown on it, since basic Arcana do not have a cooldown or charges or, well, any kind of similar mechanics to all the other abilities in the game. Now, the Ice Dagger is a piercing, very short range, very menacing looking dagger that your character casts forth. It's very narrow, but the piercing on it is very strong. Very, very strong. And also has a lot of movement and maneuverability accounted to it, or assigned to it, rather. So, unlike many other basics, which do allow for movement or which force movement while using the ability, this allows for movement, but it's a lot. It's a lot of very fast movement, almost like your character were walking. So when I start over here, look at that. Now you can imagine this with a Field Berserk. Just as an example, you can move around the place like crazy. I am sort of gliding across the floor here, and that's exactly what it feels like. It's a lot of movement for a basic. Now let's stab an enemy so you can tell the damage, which is very, very good. And then once you upgrade it on the final hit of this combination, or rather of this Arcana as a whole, it will cast forward this spear, but it will cast 2 spears all at once and shoot them for a rather medium to long range, also piercing and dealing good damage. Throws out a piercing dagger on the final strike. Yeah, it's very nice. So you can use it very versatile, similar to something like Chaos Crusher at that point, for both melee, ranged, or both at the same time. So if I want to hit them with my melee and then the final strike as well to maximize my damage output. And that's what we are going to be using it for the most part. I love the movement on it. This is definitely a key to this build in that regard, as using a different basic Arcana that wouldn't allow for so much movement wouldn't really make the build, right? This is, after all, the entire point of the build, having a lot of movement at any given time, and that includes our basic Arcana. So, perfect choice, in my opinion. For dash, we'll be running Wavefront, a very popular, I would assume, dash. A little bit atypical, I'd say. This is not a dash that is meant to deal damage, but it's meant to push enemies, mostly into pits, or very far away from you. So, into the direction in which you dash, it will cast this water bubble, which essentially encases enemies and then pushes them forward with it, like so. It deals damage, it deals okay damage, but that's not its main purpose, I'd say. It has a very strong knockback, and I love it. I absolutely love it. And then once you upgrade this, it increases a shield durability. What? What do you mean? Well, this gives you a very brief shield. So you can tell, look closely at my character model here. Above my head, you will see a blue bar resembling a shield. Oh, is it green? No, it's blue. It is blue. So it gives you a very tiny shield, meaning that if you take damage while using this, you wouldn't take any damage. The damage is then subtracted from the shield amount, which is great. And then the shield durability means that it's gonna be a lot bigger and more noticeable. I think that really explains it all. So this is the entire push aspect of the build, this first half here. Now we have one more push here, but it's not gonna be used for that for the most part. It's gonna be used for something else. This is our standard, called Scales of Babylon. Bit of a weird Arcana that I have never used in any of my builds, but it is very fun in multiplayer, since this is a very nice support Arcana, and it's very fun for combo builds like this one. This is a very odd Arcana, like, it's very unique in that it pushes enemies away. It's a massive push in a large AoE around your character, probably the size of this circle, honestly. This kind of hex circle, voodoo thing, whatever the hell this is supposed to be. The sigil, I think. It's probably a magical sigil or something. I don't know. So it pushes enemies very far away from you, and the more enemies you hit, the more movement speed and cooldown reduction you're going to be getting for a short period of time. Now this awards you with a large speed of movement. It's like if you kicked in from regular walking to running in this game, and then you also have the pace robe equipped. So very good. Let me demonstrate like so. As you can tell by the little winds around my character, this has a very short duration, but a large knockback, a massive AoE, and it gives us a lot of cooldown reduction. Look at our wavefront here, for example. Boom. That's what, like 3 seconds from hitting like 3 enemies. I could probably do like so. Boom. And back up it is, allowing us to push and pull a lot more. Now this is obviously also a pull, so we got 3 of those so far. Last one's gotta be a push then, right? But we're not gonna be using it as that for the main purpose of this build. It's just gonna be there for cooldown reduction and allowing us to escape from a situation. It gives us a lot of movement speed so we can just bail from any situation and then recollect, wait for our abilities. Maybe if we fuck up at some point, this is our reset. This is our reset button, resetting our cooldowns and allowing us to also physically reposition. And that's what we're gonna be using it for. Now the upgrade, it increases the cooldown reduction, which is just fantastic. You love it. This is essentially a free upgraded tempo robe. It is super, super powerful. And then finally, for our signature, we got the lovely Tearing Whirlwind. My favorite pull in the entire game. It has a lot of nuance to it. You cast this whirlwind around your character. It gives you a lot of movement speed for the duration, allowing you to catch up to enemies more easily. And then it pulls them in, it keeps them CC'd. They can't attack you while being in this whirlwind around you because they are tanked just enough, so they will never be able to charge up and attack fully. And then you can, for example, you can get very close. So let's say beyond this point there's a pit, and in this game if I keep running towards the pit, it will never just automatically run off of the platform. So if I Tearing Whirlwind towards this edge here, right before the pit, or the edge of the ground should I say, it will drop enemies inside of the pit because they are too fat. Their models are too fat and they will never stop in front of pits. In that case, anyway. So this is very neat for essentially dropping enemies into pits. It's great. It's great for just picking them up, grouping them up, for keeping them CC'd for a short period of time, for escape dodging. It's very nice because of the movement speed you get from it. It just instantaneously, you don't really have to hit anyone for the movement speed to activate. It's always there, which is fantastic. And it's great for dragging in enemies immediately. Also, the signature is essentially the same thing, but in a much larger version of it, essentially dragging the entirety of the currently visible screen into you, which is sweet. Now, this forces you to move, and it forces you to move a lot, but that's not really an issue. I don't really find that to be an issue. That's kind of the whole point of this build, right? We want to be moving at any given time. So, our main combo here is going to consist of the following. We're going to pull our enemies in, then push them away using wavefront, and then we can repeat that combo for however long we want, really. And then once we don't really have combo pieces active, or we don't care much about pushing and pulling, and we just want to kill our enemies, we group them up like so, and then stab them to death. You get the idea. It's very simple. I think it is very fun and interesting, and we'll see how this pans out in a real run. Let's get into it. Let's get right into the news. Now, in terms of the intended build playstyle, it is a very changing playstyle. You switch on and off between aggressive and defensive. If you have everything on cooldown, you might want to go in there and just proc your scale so you get back your combo pieces back much faster. Or Alternatively, you might just wait or go in and try and Ice Dagger enemies to death. Really, you can do whatever you want, but I'd say generally this is a very aggressive playstyle. You can be passive and sort of laid back and just casting abilities from off-screen and killing enemies at the same time. No, you have to go in there and work and get into melee range of enemies in order to kill them. For obvious reasons, right? We don't have any ranged abilities here. Of course, you could argue that Wavefront could try and kill. It's not very efficient in that, but it could. And then Ice Dagger, the upgraded version, could try and kill, but it's just a lot faster and, in my opinion, much more fun to go into enemies and just be this little untouchable guy pushing and shoving them around and not allowing them to attack you for a single second of their remaining lives. In terms of potential problems, there's not really any elements here that you should be wary of. Like wind, for example, you can pretty much ignore because evasion you get rid of easily using your tearing whirlwind. It hits so many times it gets rid of evasion right away. Being poisoned as always kind of sucks because you are using very long-term abilities such as tearing whirlwind or Scales of Babylon, and you would really not like your Scales of Babylon to be cancelled by a very fast enemy hitting you with a status effect, for example. So status effects are boo, as per usual, but you don't really have to avoid anything in particular, so go for whatever you want to. I would say, though, that damage is a potential issue here, since this is not a very high damage build. Neither Wavefront nor Tearing Whirlwind deal much damage. Scales deals next to no damage, I believe. Let me check that out, actually. Well, that deals okay-ish damage, but it's non-repeatable. It's on a rather long cooldown, so not the greatest damage either. So you're definitely going to struggle with that a little bit. And you're going to struggle with Pitless Rooms a little bit, where you can't just kill enemies straight up by pushing or pulling them into pits. Other than that, I think you'll be very fine. And then finally, for our segment, recommended items in Arcana. Arcana is just the regular, let's get that right out of the way. It's everything that's high damage, that's extra jumps, extra mobility, that enhances your basic Arcana, because that's gonna be our main damage source in this build. And so on and so forth, really. It's just the usual explosive fireball, bow claymore, jumps, permafrost bulwark, you know it, you love it. You get one of them, you should be very happy. Honestly, they're just run enhancing to any given run. And then of course, in terms of items, we want as much damage as we can physically carry around. Now we can also get rid of our signature charge in trade for more damage, but I don't really like doing so on this build. I think the Tearing Whirlwind signature adds a lot to the build experience, so I wouldn't technically usually wanna take this away from the build experience, but you can do it if you see fit. If you need the damage, just go ahead, feel free and get rid of those signature items, or don't even take them in the first place, though I would not recommend that. Be open to everything. Try to build a little bit of signature charge up, because you will frequently get to proc it on this build. It's a combo build after all. You can use your abilities in quick succession after one another. You have a lot of cooldown reduction. Speaking of which, a little bit of extra cooldown reduction might also come in handy, just so you don't have to use scales so often, but you don't exactly need extra cooldown reduction. You're gonna do very fine without it. But extra damage in the form of basic attack candies, some enhancements to your basic attack in terms of frosts and fairies and pixies and the usual, and then also in terms of crit chance and signature charge are very welcome. There's not really anything in particular you should go for, but I personally would strongly recommend getting a little bit of extra signature charge from something like Electrifying Smog, and then or like a perfect time crystal, for example, and then getting candies if you can. In terms of what upgrades you want to buy right away, there is always Ice Dagger on the table. It's a fantastic upgrade, but really all of your upgrades are fantastic. Now, getting more cooldown reduction should be the least of your priorities, as that doesn't really change a lot about your damage. It just changes a little bit your playstyle, right? You will have to, you will not have to dip away from a fight so often because everything is on cooldown. Instead, you'll be able to stay in there for much longer, but that's not exactly further increasing your DPS into bosses and mini-bosses, so I would suggest you do not upgrade scales right away, but instead Wavefront and Ice Dagger. Wavefront keeps your life slightly longer into bosses, giving you that crucial shield, allowing you to kind of dodge certain attacks that you can't avoid anymore. So you see an attack coming at you, you know, okay, it's already too late, I fucked up the timing or the position. At least Wavefront is gonna feather that. It's gonna soften the blow, it's gonna make you take not as much, if any, damage at all, thanks to the massively increased shield. Like, it's very fun. For that reason, it's very helpful into bosses, which are the main issue playing this build. And then Ice Dagger should absolutely be your priority upgrade, as already mentioned, since it just largely increases your DPS, which is fantastic. I'd say that about concludes it all. I know there's been a lot of stuttering and mixing up things here, but I am still content with this, and I will go with it all the way through. So let's see, are we gonna avoid Shu here? I don't feel like avoiding Zeal, thank you. I think I'd like to avoid Shu. Maybe not, actually. It's been a long time ever since I played a run where I didn't avoid Shu. So let's try and do that, and of course we get punished. But that's also gonna be a fun experience, having to beat Shu on floor 3. Haven't done that for a while. Chaos Trials. Now we're just gonna... whoop. Failed doing that. We're just gonna drop them off into the pit there. We'll try to not collect those healing orbs right away. Go. We did collect one, but that's fine because we was 25 HP down, which is coincidentally exactly the amount of healing that one of them will heal. I do think I want to buy these right away. I don't really care much about an Arcana rewards card. A raffle ticket. A raffle ticket? Is it riffle or raffle? I don't know. I think it's riffle. Would be nice, of course, but what are the odds, right? What are the odds of finding one of those? They gotta be pretty slim. We're just gonna do this because we lazy today. We lazy, man. We lazy. We don't want to work. Wavefront, also great for doing this. Absolutely amazing. Very satisfying to watch, I would assume. Certainly very satisfying to do that. Ah, the damage increase is fantastic. I tried to group them up into the corner there. Now, Ice Dagger has a lot of maneuverability, however, it is too much sometimes. So you will see me, when I've already backed someone into a corner, kind of doing something like this, and then trying to get back out and back in, so I can hit all of my hits reliably. Because I'm kind of afraid sometimes that it will just shove them way too much. It has quite a great knockback on it, and so I know that it is easy to miss it. Point blank range. I tried to be very cocky there and I got punished. I don't really have a good feeling for how much HP those golems got early game, but yeah, that was evidential from that situation. Ooh, love the grease boots. That is very nice on the wavefront. Just being able to push a lot more. Love the nocturnal sundial. That is also fantastic, allowing us to push and pull a lot more. If we get to proc that on something like our standard, like our Scales of Babylon, we can just infinitely chain those potentially. That's super sweet. Also love the amulet, just slightly more damage on everything. But I don't think damage is the way to go here, just a tiny bit of a damage increase for 150 gold. I think one of these is actually going to massively increase either our survivability with the grease boots or our damage output with the nocturnal sundial. And I think I want to go for the fun option today, so let's do the nocturnal sundial. I don't think I'm going to be upgrading my rope here. I don't think I'm going to be getting enough money to buy the other item there. I need to be receiving a lot of gold in order to do so. I find that very unlikely to happen, as we are already done for 94%. There appears to be one last room left on this stage, and then the boss room, and just from my experience, you get what, like 50 gold on the boss room. It's really not that much. Now we can cast Scales of Babylon around a corner, as with many other spells. So we can be a little cheeky, hitting those enemies from out of sight, or rather out of their line of sight. You might call it cheeky, I call it efficient. Crash Knight. Alright, fine by me. Can't quite pull him far enough. I love the fact that I can pull him around. I would love also if I could pull him around slightly more so. That looked very goofy. I tried my best to pull him towards the middle there just for goofs and laughter, but oh well, the resistance is just too much. It makes sense on the knight. It would make sense if bosses didn't all share this trait, but if certain bosses were more pullable than others. As the knight is very big and large, beefy, it would make much more sense for them to be much more resistant to it compared to, say, the archer or the rogue. Oh my god, what am I doing? Seems that my reflexes are a little slow today. Definitely gonna try and work on that over the course of the run. Man, the move speed is great. Love the increased run speed from Venture Robe. Strong... I always forget what this is called. Let's just get it. Strongman's Hammer. Okay. I hate the name of this item. I cannot ever remember it. It's super annoying. Boom. Sneaky barrel play. Here as well with a sneaky barrel play. I was sort of in danger there, but I was expecting him to miss that. We get a nice present. Oh my god, dude. A lot of cursed items. That is really good. That's my favorite right there. Now, unfortunately, because I picked these up in this order, I can't bounce the mask. So let's pick them up in this order instead, so I can bounce, satisfy my dark-ass needs. Cursed Anchor is pretty good, but it does strongly hinder our movement the more cursed Arcana... Sorry, the more cursed relics we carry. I am very much struggling applying Wavefront here because I always sort of misposition the enemies. Definitely got a lot to learn playing this. But I do enjoy that a lot. That's part of the experience, part of the fun. Sidewinder's badge is very good. Love the Rudras as well. Increased movement speed we really don't need. I think I'll get the Rudra straight up because that's just reliable damage. I don't really use my Dagger here efficiently enough currently. Still trying to work on that. Now my goal for this run is to simply improve as much as possible at playing this build, as I have not played it yet. Simple reasoning, right? Trying to figure out cool item combinations, trying to figure out how to best play this build. Wasn't expecting the shields to be broken down by that measly attack, but apparently they are pretty damn weak. Hello, Dr. Song. How are you on this beautiful day? I don't know what it is today. Today I'm not very coherent, I feel. Today I feel like I am stuttering around a lot. Yeah, just like so. Stuttering around, I just said. I think that's good proof of what I'm just about to say. I feel like I'm stuttering around a lot. I have trouble talking. I'm still about to get sick. I'm pretty sure. Not feeling fantastic. Maybe that's why. Could be. It is certainly distracting. At least slightly so. Now the increased wind damage is certainly paying off. We do not have any good upgrades here. We do not have anything good from Dr. Song either, or any items here. I still think I don't want to pick up the anchor because it would severely limit my maneuverability. So let's just move on. We're only going to be seeing Nox from here, which I do like. I don't need a Robe upgrade. I don't need Song. I don't need more Arcana, so that's perfect. And we have the Mask for more damage and crit chance, the Vest for more armor, and the Watch for more cooldown reduction and signature charge. Sweet. Little bit of everything good. Not just a little bit, it's gotta gradually grow. That's fantastic. Hey Freya, how you doing? Just cast the Whirlwind as she can deal with the projectile destruction. And bye-bye. Ward of Winds, that's very fun. Next is Atlas. This should be a breeze. Careful with the lance attack there. I am very insecure about what is the best way to combo enemies around, so I prefer to be a little more careful or hot-headed. Either of them will be fine. Either I overcommit or I undercommit. That's typically a sign that someone doesn't know very well how to play. Well, not necessarily how to play, but how to do a certain task. And in our case, that's gonna be playing this build. But I feel like that is fairly obvious, considering that I've just said that multiple times, that I'm very uncomfortable with this build and with how to play it. No! Oof, sweet. Guess I'm gonna get the Wavefront upgrade right away because I'm only playing with 300 HP. So the shield should come in very handy. Let's look at it. Yeah, that's slightly larger. I'd say that's a lot more notable than the default version. And we get the Glove of Midas to punish our immediate greed, but we get 100 gold from this lovely plan over here. That's fantastic, so let's get that. It's a lot more gold gained from everything. 15%, I believe. Yeah, indeed. 15%. My nose is jamming again, I feel, so that's why I have trouble talking. It's just kind of hard opening my mouth doing so, but I am trying to stay strong for as long as possible here. I really don't want to get sick. I've been trying for a week or two at this point, but it's slowly but surely coming right at me. Should have popped the ward down first, so that would have pretty much certainly killed. You just gotta love the knockback, man. It's so sweet. Scales of Babylon is such a fun Arcana to use in this build. And you can easily chain it because it is pretty much instantaneous into Tearing Whirlwind, which I absolutely love doing. Okay, now here we get the aforementioned chance to get rid of all of our signature charge at the cost of a lot more damage. I'm not sure I want to do that. Let's wait on that decision. That would be a lot of damage. I believe that would absolutely be worthwhile from a perspective of how we're gonna win the run. But from a perspective of, well, I just want to have fun. Probably not the greatest decision to get rid of our signature. An Aegis, that's cool. Now we do have Blades of Sympathy in here, which I really like a lot. This is gonna come in very handy. Absorption Call is also very good. I think I'm gonna grab the Blades right away. It's just super versatile, goes with any builds that plays aggressively. And then I think I'm actually gonna get the Stylus. Or should I get this? I don't really like Bracelet. I'm already on 2-2 here, pretty much. Because I've raided the entire floor, so I can't find any more gems for obvious reasons. I guess I'm gonna get the Stylus. I don't really mind getting rid of my signature. I only have the Curse Eater's Watch anyway, which will still benefit me by... Benefit? Did I just say benefit? Jesus, I need help. It will still benefit me by not only giving me the signature charge, which, well, we're gonna know, but also cooldown reduction. So I can definitely keep it. It's still a good item. I will be getting the Stylus. Like, come on. Gives me 15 extra HP as well, due to the Curse Eater's Vest, which not only gives you armor, but also HP. I just didn't mention that. Did not mention that, pardon, because I feel like HP gain is generally very useless in this game. It is not super useless, since we are only at 300 base HP, but... I mean, it's really not a lot, either. Ooh, this build is great. Having a good time right now. Now you get poisoned. Fuck you, dude. You stay in there. You die to the poison. Cheeky bastard. Kill off the threats first, then make some room for me. I love scales. It is super fun to use in this build. Absolute blast. Now, Paranomassacon is very good. I'm gonna pick that up before leaving the floor, just so I don't take as much damage. In case you don't know, Paranomassacon increases the damage you deal to counseling members, I they call that. So the bosses in this game, essentially. But also, it increases the damage you take from all other sources. Which is definitely a bummer. At the beginning of a floor, you don't want to pick that up. It doesn't give you an immediate benefit. In fact, it only has a large disadvantage by making you take damage for the remainder of the floor. Or the remainder of the run, rather. I love this so much. I love movement. This is great. This definitely has the potential to become one of my more favorite leaning builds. And we're not even running the pace rope, for example, or the that one horse item which increases your run speed. But I already feel like we have a lot of mobility. This time I'm gonna use my iframes to pop down the ward before casting my scales, just so I have a guarantee that it will deal enough damage to kill off pretty much everyone. Now luckily we already upgraded everything here, which is perfect. Love to see that. Please more. I need more of that. I rarely get runs where I don't get the upgrade that I want, but when it happens it's always frustrating. So let's say you're playing a build that is really focused on one certain Arcana and then you just never get the upgrade of that Arcana and you have to pretty much build for something else entirely, because not getting that upgrade is so detrimental to your build that you can't really use that Arcana to deal damage as your main damaging ability. A good example of that would probably be... Now I really have to think hard. Probably any basic Arcana, really. There are certain basic Arcana that you need to get upgraded right away, otherwise they don't do anything. Like Bouncing Blaze, for example, which only hits one target at a time. However you use it, it doesn't matter. You could be the best Bouncing Blaze user in the world, and still you would only be able to hit one target at a given time, so that's very inefficient. But once you get the upgrade, you'll be able to pierce an infinite number of targets, which is infinitely better, right? That's the equation, probably. What do we do here? I'm really liking this run so far. Due to the strongmans, the strongmans, and the sharpened stylers, and then the Curse Eater bundle, we have a lot of damage. We also have a lot of basic damage though, so I'm looking pretty much at the candy here. The chakra is a freebie. It's super strong, giving you more armor, and a lot healing is like insanely strong, and it's on a discount as well. I feel like we kind of have to. Definitely leaving the pouch in the dust. I do want to get the candy first. It's more fun. And it's stackable. Which is great in my book. My god, that damage. I love it. Oh. Why did the candy go over here? That's weird. The Tattered Scroll. I don't care much at all. I'm sorry, I had to correct myself there. I don't care at all for this, because I already have Sharpened Stylers, meaning no more signature charge. By any means, can be acquired. Oh, the candy kill there. Loved it. Sweet. Now, do we get the chakra or do we get the stone? I do like the stone a lot too. We don't have another painting part here, so I don't really want to start with the easel. That's just super defensive. Don't care much for that. Now, Chakra's Locket is just like super good by itself. It could easily win a run. And this run is pretty much won, okay? Let's not pretend. This run is insane so far, luck-wise. As pretty much everyone where you find a present right at the beginning of the run, it's insane. I love the stone. I don't want this though because it roots enemies, so it doesn't allow me to push and pull them around anymore, so... In that case... Honestly, I think I'm gonna keep my money here. I just want to focus on damage this run. I don't want any healing or defense. Not any more than I already got, anyway. Now, I did forget picking up the Paramassacon. So, feel free to scream at me that I'm an idiot. You are correct. That was wrong order. I should have popped down the ward again. Yep, I definitely forgot the para. That's fine. Oh, we get both wards that increase our wind damage. Interesting. I do prefer the Earthen Aegis, but... I was gonna say I'm gonna trade it away if possible, but it's not possible. We're only gonna be seeing Nox, which is perfect. Again, love to see it. I kinda hate myself for not having picked up that para. But on the other hand, do I want to trivialize bosses and flaws? No, right? There's gotta be a bit of a challenge to this run. The double ward combination. Now this is quite goofy. You should absolutely be using the Earthen Aegis instead, which completely shuts down stuff like rogues and archers, but I want to have some fun here. I feel like this run is just such a free win. Might as well try and throw it all away. Ah, we get punished for not having picked up the stone. I do regret it. Okay, you made me regret it. Come on. Man, we get so many super strong defensive items. Look at this row. Look at the deafening symbols, for example. Combined with the Jade Chakras locket and the Blades of Sympathy. My god. This run is so free. Stop giving me good shit. Give me some candies. I want to have some fun. Whoa. That was a lot of slimes. Holy shit! Yeah, that's absolutely my favorite combo at this point. It's just pop down both wards, use the tearing whirlwind, and then immediately scales afterwards. The stun look! I love this. This build is so fun. Ah! I think that combo makes a lot of sense. Just keeping distance in between us and our enemies, and we deal very strong damage to them. Then all enemies that we couldn't finish off will be very far from us. Not able to hurt us. Hey person, how you doing? Oh, this is such fun. I'm having a blast. I might really add this to my favorite list. Of course, it could just be all due to the fact that we got an insane start. But man, like, come on. This is awesome. This is a 10 out of 10. I'm having a fantastic time. And we get the recurring Anchor of Burden. Thank you, but no thank you. I hate not having picked up that para. It really sucks. It blows, man. I could grab the stone, but I think it's a little late. Instead, what am I looking for? So I finally want to replace Token of Doom and Pandemic Pouch. I don't really know what I want to replace them with. And then, of course, Glove of Midas as well, because it is useless at that point. Sora doesn't care about my money. Sora is non-corruptible. I don't really know what I'm looking for. I'm definitely not looking for defense. I would love the symbols. It's super good. Really, all of these are fantastic items. But at this point... And then I don't want to start stacking the stones now that I've already missed one. I know, it's stupid logic. It doesn't make any sense, in fact. But, well, that's what I'm thinking. The double ward combination! Ugly Christmas sweater! No, I don't actually know what it's called. Is it the weather jacket? Definitely don't need that. It's immunity to slow. Actually, we might pick that up. It's more useful than the pandemic purge. Flashy windbreaker. Okay, it's not a weather jacket, but it's it's basically the same thing. Just a swag looking weather jacket. Okay. Man, I really hate this. I hate myself. I didn't pick up the stone, didn't pick up the para. I just leave everything behind. God damn it, man. We here at Flawed Gameplay Trademark, not only can we not talk properly and coherently, but also we can play properly and coherently. Isn't this fun? Yeah, you guys chill. Calm down for a sec. That was honestly sort of cringe. But it doesn't change the fact that we don't care about defenses at all. We don't have to, in my opinion. I think we are very much good to go. Let's hope we find the Magician's top hat, since we can't use that Volatile Gemstone anymore. Would have been fantastic earlier, but, well, it's a little late now. Now you might ask why the hell I'm using the double ward so aggressively. It's because they amplify each other. Wind amplifies wind damage, and earth amplifies earth and wind damage. Which is sweet. I do keep using them in the wrong order though. I gotta pay more attention to that. I want to be using earth first and then wind. Like so, right? Just dashing around the place like you're fancy or like you can actually do anything, like you got skills. You don't, man. Look, looking cool ain't gonna cut it. You gotta kill me. My god, I hate those summons. They are so reluctant to anything. Well, they can't be affected by CC. Super annoying. Hate those things. Have fun. I don't need more HP, thank you very much. Vortex Veil is very fun. This gets rid of all projectiles. I just said this gets rid. So the saga continues. I'm just very much brain dead today. Maybe I'm just having a bad day, right? Though I'm not. I'm objectively having a fantastic time here. I might just have a bad day talking. Another S tier defensive item. God damn it. I think I might actually get that so I can play super aggressively with the Blades of Sympathy. After all, that's the reason I picked this up in the first place. So I could use it later. I'm definitely gonna pick that up. Let's get rid of the Windbreaker for now. We are at 84%, so there's quite a significant chunk left. Oh, going the wrong direction here. I should, there should be an achievement for having the map open and still being unable to read it. Okay, you guys, bring it on. Mr. Burst Mage. So this has got to be a little boring. I was hoping for the Summoner. That would have been a very exciting fight. Let's make this more exciting by waiting out for them to summon more ads. Sweet. Boo. Too easy. Okay, what do we do now? Glove of Might is still very good. We can get rid of the token now. Get the supply crate instead. And then start buying, right? Not on this stage, though. There's not really anything to buy here. All of these kind of suck. I really don't need a Hunter Stiletto, for example. I mean, I could speculate to try and find the Magician's Top Hat. That'd be a lot of extra damage. Or extra candies. I'd rather do it now than before Sora, but then the first item I gotta buy is 150, which is, oof, that's very expensive. I'm gonna try. Okay. I see, this is not happening today. Moving on then. Shoo. Time to beat your ass. Kasim's is just so overpowered into Shu. Love it. Everything that destroys Shu, good friend of mine. Play around the evasion as much as possible. Wait, where's my evasion? Where is my evasion? You son of a bitch! Does it have a cooldown? That's because it has an internal cooldown, doesn't it? Son of a bitch! Or maybe it just doesn't count for boss attacks. I don't know, I've never paid attention to it. Maybe I just overused it there. Maybe it has an internal cooldown, you should overuse it so much. I love this build. Having a very goofy, casual time here today. I hope you don't mind. I hope you didn't want high-level gameplay, because this is certainly not it. Okay, we still do not get to see another candy. That's very unfortunate. We get to see some very strong defensive items. Yet again, the theme continues here with the bone mail. We might actually pick them up at this point. Okay, Love the Spell Thief socks as well. That's a lot of mobility, my friend. Now, I'll just commit. Just commit to the defense, yeah. I really would have wished for more fun offensive items, but we had a good time at the end of the day. Let's see how much we can tank and heal back up. Yeah, this is the time. Come on, Sarah. Come on, Sarah. There you go. That was fun. Fantastic. Love to see. That was a very fun run. We got so much overpowered shit in that run. I can't even fathom to put this into words. Very fun run, honestly. I am quite a degenerate today. I really just screwed up another sentence just there. It just doesn't stop, man. I can't control myself. I can't help myself. I just have to fuck up these sentences. I just have to. I just have to twist them in weird and chaotic ways, man. It's just, it gets me off. It's just so pleasant to do it. Sounding articulate, or rather being articulate, is my greatest deal in life. I'm gonna devote my entire life to doing so. Okay, at the end of the day, it was a very chaotic but a very fun time, and I think those things go very well together. And chaos definitely works for this build, right? It definitely causes a lot more fun, iffy, and clunky situations to arise. So in that regard, I don't even mind the chaos, whether it be in my head, in my voice, or in this game. I had a fantastic time, and I fucked it up again. I had a fantastic time, and I hope you did too. Thank you very much for enduring. Watching this video. Wherever you are, good morning, good day, or a good night. And until next time, bye bye.